Speaker, and I thank all honourable members for their thoughtful contributions today. And in closing this debate, I will just respond to a few of the points made. The Government has been clear throughout this debate, in both this House and the House of Lords, that this bill is an important step forward and at last makes provision for ministers to take paid maternity leave. And I would like to repeat my thanks to the opposition front bench for their constructive support on this, but also the future work we are planning to bring forward. And I am pleased that this bill will be able to make similar maternity leave provisions for opposition office holders as well. Turning to the comments of the Honourable Lady opposite, the Honourable Lady for Lancaster and Fleetwood, in earlier readings I did speak about the context in which we are bringing this forward. I'm very conscious that even if we took into account future ministerial post holders, this is still a tiny group of individuals compared to the general population, and there is work that we want to bring forward, not least the work that BEIS have been leading on to really help make progress on a number of related areas. This bill has afforded me the opportunity to check in with those ministers and to encourage them. Very understandable that the effort of that department has been focused on the pandemic, but if we're going to really recover from that, we have to ensure that women are economically empowered, they are supported, and many of the things that they have been looking at will help do that. The Honourable Lady asks about whether we've considered premature and sick babies. We have, and I think that the provisions in this bill will certainly help anyone in that situation. And clearly we originally drafted this bill to incorporate adoption leave and shared parental leave, but it was too difficult because of some of the issues around the royal prerogative, ministers, caps on payroll and so forth, which is why we need a little bit more time to do this additional piece of work before we bring back, I think, future legislation to address those issues. And that will also dock into work that honourable members will want to do in this place with IPSA, although we recognise its independence, but clearly we're talking about the same individuals. Indeed, the Attorney General may have got her ministerial situation sorted, I hope, if this bill gets royal assent. She will still face the difficulties other members have spoken about as a Member of Parliament. Turning to the Right Honourable Member for Reigate, and I want to first thank him and the all-party group for the incredible work that they have done, both on domestic issues but also internationally as well. And I think sometimes when we look back on our predecessors in this place and we see some of the remarks that were made decades ago about LGBT people, the homophobia that was exhibited, I'm sure that all of us in this place would look at that footage and we would cringe. And I think we should ask ourselves, if we were in the Commons at that time, would we have called it out? Would we have gone out of our way to send our support and our empathy and understanding to gay people at the time? And I think that the challenge for us today is exactly the same with trans people. And I do hope that all members of this House, and I know that many members do, take that responsibility extremely seriously, none more so than the Right Honourable Member for Reigate. The amendments that we are accepting today are legitimate and they are indeed understandable, and they are also critically legally sound. But let me say, in proposing them from this dispatch box, that trans men are men, trans women are women, and great care has been taken in the drafting of and the accepting of these amendments to ensure that that message has been got across. And so often these issues are presented as an intractable row between two incompatible positions. It isn't. It is about all people being able to go about their lives, being able to be supported in doing so. And I know that many honourable members in this place and their lordships in the other place feel that very strongly and feel a huge responsibility. And as a woman, I agree with many of the comments that have been made today. I want the rights of all women to be taken care of and all men to be safeguarded too. Turning to the Honourable Member for East Renfrewshire, who made some very good points, I have to inform her, sadly again, that ministers have no rights because of the royal prerogative, I'm sorry to say, Madam Deputy Speaker, and therefore the Prime Minister is the arbiter of this. But I cannot imagine a situation when any Prime Minister would not allow someone to take maternity leave. If anyone has an idea how to get around that as a minister, I'm quite keen to have some rights, and so we will obviously keep that under review, but that is the current situation. She also questioned whether this bill was progressive. I think it is. It is progressive for women, it is progressive for trans men, and I think that is an important message that we should send. And the future piece of work we wish to do on those other matters, we want to bring back to this place before summer recess. I cannot, because I don't know whether it will involve legislation or the nature of that legislation, so I cannot give her any more assurances on that, but we will bring back the work that we will do cross-party on these matters. Turning to the Honourable Member for Edinburgh West, she made some very powerful remarks, and I thank her for them and agree with them entirely. The Honourable Member for Liverpool Riverside also spoke about the context we are presenting this bill in, and I reassure her that it is our intention to bring forward adoption leave and shared parental leave and related matters, and she is right to point to the impact of the pandemic on women. And finally, the Honourable Member for Strangford shared a sad and beautiful story with us, and we have taken into consideration the situation where there is a stillborn child, and we did speak at second reading about the opportunities this presents for devolved administrations, but also, importantly, councillors as well. In concluding, Madam Deputy Speaker, the Government has accepted these amendments, confident that the wording of the bill is legally accurate and does not adversely affect the operation of its intent. Moreover, the Government is content that the Lord's amendments are legally acceptable and more inclusive than other suggested alternatives. The Government is supporting these amendments in this House and recommends that that they are accepted and that the bill now be allowed to proceed to royal assent. Thank you.